Wow. Okay, so we are diving deep today into intentionality and success.
Yeah.
You have given me a really interesting mix here. Articles, research summaries,
Mm.
personal stories.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm a little intimidated, I'll be honest,
Really?
by the sheer volume of stuff
Yeah.
that we're going to be talking about today. But I think the real challenge here is going to be kind of digging past the surface level,
Yeah.
like that surface level inspiration we see everywhere,
Yeah.
and figuring out what intentionality actually looks like
Yeah.
in a real person's life,
Right.
what it looks like day to day.
Well, and I think one of the things that's so interesting is
Yeah.
that a lot of the stuff you've pulled actually pushes back against that sort of like
Yeah.
hustle culture.
Oh, interesting.
Like it's not about, you know, squeezing every last drop out of your day.
Right.
It's really more about making sure that your actions are aligned with your values
I see.
and goals.
Yeah, it's about quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm looking at this list here, and we've got Oprah's morning routine.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Bill Gates, who takes an entire think week
Right.
just to think.
Yeah.
We've got incredible stories of people like Tiffany Haddish and Christina Kuzmic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all these individuals achieved success,
Yeah.
but it wasn't by just blindly following,
Right.
some generic success formula.
Totally. And some of the research you've even included suggests that intentionality isn't just, this feel-good concept.
Okay.
There's a growing body of evidence that links it to measurable outcomes, like increased goal achievement, even a longer lifespan.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's real science behind this.
Yeah.
Not just like inspirational quotes on Instagram.
There's actual data to back it up. For example, there was a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, and they found that individuals who set specific intentions were significantly more likely to achieve their goals compared to those who just had, a vague desire for change.
That makes sense. It's like having a roadmap, right? Versus just kind of wandering around
Totally.
aimlessly, hoping to stumble upon your destination.
Yeah.
So, okay, so there's the science, but how does this intentionality actually manifest in daily life? What are like the habits and practices of highly intentional people? What are they doing?
One common thread that emerges from a lot of these sources is the importance of prioritization.
Okay.
It's not just about working hard, but working smart. So you think about somebody like Warren Buffett, famous for his focus, has really mastered the art of saying no to almost everything that doesn't directly contribute to his core goals.
So it's about being very selective with your time and energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, big decisions. Even something as simple as a morning routine can be a powerful expression of intentionality. And one of the examples that came up a lot was Oprah Winfrey.
Of course, right.
She starts her day with meditation and gratitude journaling.
Okay, that sounds very zen.
Yeah.
But how does that actually contribute to, her immense success?
Well, I think if you think about it, by starting her day with that mindfulness
Oh,
and reflection,
yeah.
she's setting a positive tone. And she's priming herself for the challenges of the day. It's not just about feeling good. It's about cultivating a mindset that supports her goals.
I see. So it's about setting yourself up for success.
Yeah.
From the very beginning of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, you have someone like Elon Musk,
Right.
who utilizes a very structured approach called time blocking
Yeah.
to maximize his efficiency. So he literally allocates, specific time slots in his day for different tasks to ensure that he stays focused and on track.
That sounds incredibly organized, but also a little rigid.
Yeah.
Like, what if something unexpected comes up?
Well, right. Of course,
Yeah.
there needs to be flexibility. But the point is, all of these habits, whether it's,
Yeah.
Oprah's meditation or Elon Musk's time blocking,
Right.
they're all ultimately serving the same purpose, which is aligning their actions with their goals.
Okay.
And that alignment, it seems, is a key factor in their success.
All right. So we're starting to see how all these individual habits can actually fit together into this larger framework
Yeah.
of intentionality.
Right.
Well, let's talk about, some real life examples. You mentioned the stories of Tiffany Haddish and Christina Kuzmic,
Right.
both of whom faced incredible challenges on their path to success. What's so interesting about their stories?
Well, what's so compelling is that they demonstrate that intentionality isn't this, magical guarantee of a perfect life.
Right.
Both Tiffany and Christina faced adversity, heartbreak, setbacks,
Mm-hmm.
But they never lost sight of their goals. They were constantly making intentional choices,
Okay.
even when those choices were really difficult.
So it's not about avoiding challenges altogether. It's about navigating them with intention.
Precisely. So you look at Tiffany Haddish, for example. She grew up in foster care.
Wow.
Experienced homelessness, even survived a violent assault.
Oh, my gosh.
But through it all, she never gave up on her dream of becoming a comedian.
Wow.
She visualized her success, she set clear goals, and she relentlessly pursued opportunities, even when they were scarce.
Wow, that's amazing. And what about Christina Kuzmic? I feel like her story really resonates with a lot of people who are, maybe struggling with personal challenges.
Well, yeah. I mean, Christina's journey is equally inspiring. I mean, she immigrated to the U.S. from Croatia during wartime, went through a divorce, faced, financial hardship and depression. But she found a way to turn her passion for cooking into a successful career.
Wow.
And she really, I think, shared her vulnerabilities and her authentic self with the world. And in doing so, built this incredible community of support and achieved a level of success, I think, that, she probably never imagined.
That's incredible. These stories really challenge that myth. That success is just about, talent or luck.
Right.
They show it's about making these conscious choices, even when life throws you curveballs. What about the role of purpose? It seems like a lot of the sources that you pulled emphasize the importance of finding your why.
Yeah, purpose is definitely a recurring theme. And what's interesting is a lot of the sources caution against this idea that your purpose needs to be this grand, world-changing mission.
Right.
They suggest that true purpose is often found in the everyday, in the small acts of service and connection that bring meaning to our lives.
So it's not necessarily about, finding a cure for cancer or becoming the next Elon Musk.
Exactly. It could be as simple as being a supportive friend or a loving parent or a dedicated member of your community.
Okay, that's reassuring. It makes the idea of finding purpose feel a lot less daunting. But let's say you've done the work, right?
Right.
You've clarified your values, you've connected with your purpose, and you're ready to set some intentions.
Yeah.
What are the practical steps? Like, how do you actually do that?
The sources offer a range of strategies.
Okay.
But there are some common threads. One is the importance of clarity. It's not enough to just have this, vague desire for something. You need to define your goals in a specific and measurable way.
So instead of just saying, I want to be healthier, you would say, I want to exercise 30 minutes 3 times a week.
Exactly. The more specific you are, the more likely you are to actually take action. And it's not just about the what, it's also about the why. Understanding that deeper motivation behind your goals can really give you the fuel you need to keep going when things get tough.
And I've noticed that a lot of the sources emphasize the importance of actually, writing down your goals. Something about putting pen to paper seems to make it more real.
There's actually some interesting research on this. There was a study published in the British Journal of Psychology, and they found that individuals who wrote down their goals were significantly more likely to achieve them than those who simply thought about their goals. So there was something about that act of physically writing it down that seems to solidify the intention.
So it's not just about writing it down once and forgetting about it. It's about regularly revisiting your goals, tracking your progress, making adjustments as needed.
Absolutely. It's about creating a system of accountability for yourself. And it's also important to, acknowledge the effort that you're putting in. Celebrate small wins. Recognize that even if you don't achieve your goal exactly as you envisioned it, the effort itself is valuable.
That's a good reminder. It's so easy to get discouraged, right, when things don't go exactly according to plan. But the sources, they seem to suggest that setbacks are inevitable. How do we deal with them?
I think one of the most powerful tools we have is our ability to reframe our perspective. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, we can choose to see them as learning opportunities.
So it's about extracting the lessons from the experience. Rather than just dwelling on the disappointment.
Exactly. And it's about connecting with your why. Reminding yourself of the deeper meaning behind your goals can give you the resilience you need to keep going, even when you're faced with obstacles.
It's about focusing on the bigger picture. Rather than getting caught up in the, day-to-day challenges.
Absolutely. And it's also incredibly important to be kind to ourselves
Right.
throughout this process.
Self-compassion is so crucial, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to, like, beat ourselves up
Totally.
when things don't go as planned.
Yeah.
But that often just leads to,
Right.
more negativity and discouragement.
The sources really emphasize the importance of recognizing that. Setbacks are part of the journey, not a sign that we're doing something wrong.
So it's about embracing those ups and downs,
Exactly.
the successes and the failures.
Yeah.
As part of the process.
As part of the process. And it's about seeking support when we need it.
Okay.
Talking to a friend or a family member or a mentor can provide such valuable perspective and encouragement when you're going through those challenging times.
And reminding ourselves that we're not alone in this journey.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone faces setbacks.
Everyone experiences
moments of doubt.
Absolutely.
It's all part of the human experience.
Totally. And it's important to remember that intentional living isn't about being perfect.
Right.
It's about making conscious choices.
Right.
Learning from your experiences, and continuously striving to align your actions with your values and goals.
It's about embracing the process.
Yeah.
The journey. And all the messy, beautiful imperfections along the way.
Beautifully put. And with that in mind, I think we can delve a little deeper into some specific strategies for maintaining focus and navigating challenges on this path of intentional living.
Okay, so we've talked about the importance of setbacks.
Right.
And reframing them as learning experiences. But what about those times when we just feel stuck? Like we've lost sight of our goals and that initial spark of motivation has fizzled out. How do we kind of reignite that inner fire and regain our focus?
I think one of the most powerful things we can do is to reconnect with their deeper meaning behind our intentions. Why did we set these goals in the first place? What were we hoping to achieve? What impact did we envision having on ourselves and the world around us?
So it's about remembering that why that was so compelling in the beginning.
Exactly. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind and lose sight of the bigger picture.
Right.
But when we reconnect with that deeper purpose, we tap into this wellspring of motivation that can help us push through those challenges and stay committed to our goals.
It's like remembering, why you set out on the journey in the first place, remembering the destination and that joy you anticipate feeling when you arrive.
That's a great analogy. And another technique that a lot of the sources highlight is visualization.
Okay.
So spending time vividly imagining yourself achieving your goals and living in alignment with your intentions can be incredibly powerful.
So it's not just about thinking about it abstractly. It's about really creating that mental picture of what success looks and feels like.
Precisely. When we visualize ourselves achieving our goals, we're actually activating the same neural pathways in our brains as if we were actually experiencing those successes.
Wow.
And this can create a sense of momentum and belief that can really propel us forward.
It's almost like tricking your brain right into believing that it's already happening.
Yeah.
I can see how that could be a powerful tool for staying motivated.
Yeah, and the sources also emphasize the importance of integrating our intentions into our daily lives. It's not enough to just, think about them occasionally. We need to find ways to weave them into our daily routines and habits.
So it's about making intentionality a part of our everyday lives, not just something we think about once a year, when we're making New Year's resolutions.
Exactly. It's about making those small, consistent choices that align with our values and goals. It could be something as simple as, starting each day with a gratitude practice or setting aside a few minutes each evening to reflect on our progress and identify areas where we can improve.
Right. So it's about finding those little moments throughout the day where we can make those intentional choices.
Absolutely. And it's about being patient with ourselves. I mean, building new habits and creating lasting change, it takes time.
Yeah.
And effort. There will be slip-ups and setbacks along the way, but the key is to approach those moments with self-compassion and a willingness to learn and adjust our approach.
So it's not about striving for perfection. It's about embracing that process of continuous improvement.
Exactly. It's about viewing those challenges as opportunities for growth and recognizing that even our mistakes can be valuable learning experiences.
And I think this connects back to the idea of self-compassion.
Yeah.
Right? It's so crucial to be kind to ourselves throughout this process, to celebrate those wins, acknowledge our efforts, and just offer ourselves that grace when we stumble.
I couldn't agree more. And one of the things that really resonated with me from the sources was this emphasis on connecting with our our inner wisdom and intuition.
Okay.
It's not just about setting goals and following a plan.
Right.
It's about listening to that inner voice that guides us toward what feels truly aligned and fulfilling.
So it's about balancing that intentional action with a sense of openness and receptivity to what unfolds along the way.
Exactly. It's about trusting that we have the inner resources we need to navigate those challenges and make choices that support our highest good.
It strikes me that we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Have.
And it's a little overwhelming to think about implementing all of these ideas at once. What advice would you give to someone who's feeling inspired, but maybe a little unsure where to start?
I think the most important thing is to start small. Choose one area of your life where you want to cultivate more intentionality and focus on making one small change at a time.
So instead of trying to overhaul our entire lives, we should focus on building those intentional habits one brick at a time.
Exactly. And remember that progress, not perfection, is the goal. Celebrate those small wins, acknowledge your efforts, and trust that those small changes will compound over time.
That's a really empowering message. It reminds us that we don't have to wait for the perfect conditions to start living more intentionally.
Right.
We can start right now with whatever resources we have available and make choices that align with our values and goals.
Absolutely. And I think the most important takeaway from all of this is that intentional living is a journey, not a destination. It's a continuous process of growth, exploration, and refinement.
It's about embracing the ups and downs, the successes and the setbacks, and trusting that as long as we're moving in a direction that feels aligned and authentic, we're on the right path.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'd love to leave our listener with a thought-provoking question. What is one small intentional change you can make today to move towards a life that feels more aligned, more fulfilling, and more impactful? It could be a change to your routine, a commitment to a new habit, or simply a shift in your mindset. Remember, even the smallest step in the right direction can make a world of difference.
And as you embark on this journey of intentional living, remember to be kind to yourself, celebrate your progress, and never stop learning and growing.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. This deep dive has been incredibly enlightening.
It's been a pleasure.
And to our listener, we hope this deep dive has sparked some inspiration and provided you with some practical tools to start crafting a life that feels truly aligned with your values, passions, and purpose. Until next time, keep diving deep. It's amazing to me how much we've uncovered about intentionality. And I think what's really striking me is that it's not just about achieving those specific goals. It's really about cultivating a way of being in the world.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. And I think a lot of the material we discuss really emphasizes this shift from a mindset of achieving to a mindset of becoming, you know? It's about those small moments, even when you're not thinking about your goals. It's about aligning those actions with your values.
Right. So it's about making those conscious choices consistently, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just sporadically, when we're feeling extra motivated.
Exactly. It's about weaving it into the fabric of your life. So it becomes less about willpower and more about just being who you are.
Right. And that reminds me of something we talked about earlier, the idea that our habits are ultimately expressions of our intentions.
Yeah.
So if we want to change our outcomes, we need to start by changing our habits.
That's such a key point. And there are so many practical strategies that the sources give for developing these intentional habits. For example, they emphasize creating systems and structures that support our goals, setting those boundaries, creating that supportive environment. Even finding accountability partners can be really helpful.
Right. So it's we're setting ourselves up for success.
Yeah.
By creating this environment where those positive choices become, the default.
Exactly.
Rather than something we have to constantly be fighting for.
And also recognizing that, it takes time to build those habits.
Yeah.
It takes effort. You will slip up. There will be setbacks along the way. But approaching those with self-compassion.
Right.
And a willingness to learn. That's key.
So it's not about perfection. It's about embracing that process of continuous improvement.
Exactly. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities, to grow. And even seeing those mistakes as valuable lessons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think this really connects back to, self-compassion.
Yeah.
Being kind to ourselves throughout this process.
Yeah.
To celebrate our wins, acknowledge our efforts, and just offer ourselves grace when we stumble.
I couldn't agree more. And, one thing that really resonated with me from the sources was the importance of connecting with that inner wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
and intuition. It's not just about setting goals
Right.
and sticking to a rigid plan. It's also about trusting yourself and listening to that inner voice to guide you towards what feels right.
So it's about balancing that intentional action with, a sense of openness to what unfolds along the way.
Exactly. It's about trusting that you have the resources
Yeah.
to navigate those challenges and make choices that support you.
It strikes me that we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. And I think for some people, it could feel a little overwhelming to try to implement all these ideas at once. What advice would you give to someone who's feeling inspired but maybe a little unsure of where to start?
Well, I think the most important thing is to start small. Choose one area of your life where you want to bring in more intentionality, and then just make one small change.
So instead of trying to, overhaul your entire life, just focus on building those habits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One brick at a time. And remember, progress, not perfection, is the goal. Celebrate those small wins.
Right.
Acknowledge your efforts. And just trust that all those small changes will add up over time.
That's a really empowering message. It reminds us that we don't have to wait, for the perfect conditions to start living intentionally.
Yeah.
We could start right now with what we have.
Absolutely.
And make those choices that align with our values.
And I think that brings us to probably the most important takeaway from all of this, Intentional living is a journey, not a destination. It's a constant process of growth and exploration.
Right. It's about embracing the ups and downs.
Yeah.
And trusting that, if we're moving in a direction that feels aligned, we're on the right path.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with a thought-provoking question. What is one small, intentional change you can make today to move towards a life that feels more fulfilling, more impactful? It could be a change to your routine, or a commitment to a new habit, or simply a shift in mindset. Remember, even the smallest step in the right direction can make a world of difference.
And as you embark on this journey of intentional living, remember to be kind to yourself, celebrate your progress, and never stop learning.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights. This has been so enlightening.
It's been a pleasure.
And to our listener, we hope this deep dive has sparked some inspiration and given you some tools to start creating a life that's truly aligned with your values, passions, and purpose. Until next time, keep diving deep.